What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talon Talk. We're here to recap week 2. It's another exciting week, and we're gonna jump right into it here. With me this week, I've got Lucky here and Callum. What's up, guys?
Hey, dude. What's happening?
This guy, that's what's up.
And our special guest this week is FadedEclipze.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What's going on, dude? I'm happy you're here.
Good to have you here. Good to have you here, man. So we're gonna jump right in here. I just want to recap some news before we go over week 2. There was some interesting things that went on over the course of this week. Some exciting things. One of the biggest things that a lot of people are excited about, especially higher SR people, with the major leagues coming back. It's still obviously in the planning phases, and nothing's really set in stone yet. Not even the name. so we are still working on planning that, but it is coming for next season. So hopefully by season 4, we will have that ready to go. Just another plug for the Facebook page. Trill's been keeping up with that this week, and some really exciting stuff there. Posting like recaps of the games, highlights of the games, really cool stuff. So if you have Facebook, just literally search Talon Academy and it will come up, and give it a like there, and Trill will love you forever.
It looks sick. It looks sick. I actually was on it there. Wait, what day was it? The podcast? It was the day after. I went on it for a little bit. It actually does look sick. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna Google it now.
What's that?
Callum's a little bit late to the party, and he's looking it up now.
Okay. I'm not surprised. No. Anyway,
Perfect.
just some other things here. If you want to give some feedback for the league, you could do so. Go to the announcements page on the main server, and there's a form there to fill out some feedback. We love to hear feedback. Feedback's great, and it's going to help us improve. So even if you just have some ideas, no matter how small or large they may be, just throw them in there, and they'll definitely get looked at. So just plugging that there. That's all the major news I got for this week. So without further ado, let's get into our week 2 recap. And what a week it was. There was definitely some upsets that nobody expected. There were some 4-0s that we all expected. I think I hear somebody. What is that? Is that?
My pub actually be heard. You don't understand. I had 5 party poppers in my hands, trying to make a loud bang so people would hear it on the mic. But unfortunately,
How many did you buy? You were popped out 7 before the bloody podcast.
Wait. I count them now. Give me a second. 1, 2,
For
3,
God's
4,
sake.
5, 6, 7.
Popped 3 more while you were gone.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 20
Okay, all right.
party.
Okay.
He does it just for you.
I'm surprised he could calculate that.
Wow.
And we are off and running here.
I saw memes coming back, boys.
So on that note, why not?
Sorry, I love you,
Why
Callum,
not?
don't worry.
Why not get started with that match, and let Callum have his day of glory here. So let's start with that one here. It was Shimada versus Eclipze, and this was a match that most of us had Eclipze winning. Eclipze was,
Except for the big break.
they were number 2 in the power rankings. They were a team that should have been hard to beat, and Shimada went out and cleaned up their work. So let's recap this match. Who wants to start here?
Is that me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So unlike you guys, I actually on the stream itself, I was casting this game. I called a 3-1 in favor of Shimada, which is exactly what it ended up being.
Wow.
And the reason for this is I had Curie going into this match just absolutely dominating, which he did. I think the tank lineup in Eclipse is scary, but I had a feeling that Shimada was going to be like shutting them down, which is something that they definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see anything of Houdini throughout this entire match, and that was someone that's got to be a playmaker for that team.
Yeah.
To have zero impact in this match was a big issue, and it's not even his fault. Shimada did a great job in shutting him down. I also think that the reason I was favoring a Shimada in this one is that Eclipse just doesn't seem adapted to this meta, in my opinion. I think this meta doesn't favor their playstyle, and I honestly think Shimada took advantage of that with their showings, especially with Callum on that Pharah. I think it was clear that it was going to be Shimada throughout the entire match. The final one, scoreline actually doesn't show what Eclipse did, though. I feel like it was an even match. Besides the shutdown on the tanks, it was supports and DPS wise, it was pretty even.
Yeah, you definitely hit a few good points there. Like Houdini's somebody that we've been talking about week in and week out, about somebody that is, you know, up there with the top tanks in the league. So for him not to show up there is a big change for Eclipse, probably one they weren't expecting. So, Lucky, you got anything you want to add about this one?
Obviously, week one we came up against Eclipse, and for me, I don't know, it could be on a different game on a different day. Everyone kind of plays differently. Like no one is consistent the whole time or whatever. But for me, as you said, it's kind of strange when you look at Houdini and say, "Oh, he didn't really do anything," because everyone knows what Houdini can do, and he's more of their leader, their shot caller. He's the one that kind of puts out the team, and he kind of delivers. And for him to sit back and, as you say, he didn't really do much, it's kind of worrying. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of interesting to see how Eclipse go on from this.
That's what I was saying. I feel like he almost got. I'm going to take a word out of the Bryn's book from Overwatch League. I think he got mentally boomed like throughout that entire match. He did not.
I love that word.
He did not get any impact, and it showed. And I think later on, after like map 1, the leadership just wasn't there for Eclipsed.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so yeah, Callum, this is gonna be your 30-second block here to talk about this match.
Before I have my 30-second brag, may I add a few serious points to this.
All right, go ahead.
So first of all, I spoke to the Eclipse lads, and they were gobsmacked that I played DPS. So that was their first mistake. They didn't think I played DPS. And second of all, can someone please mention fucking Hollywood? Please? Just give me credit for once.
Hollywood?
Fill us in. What happened?
I killed the entire Eclipse lineup. I literally turned a lost fight, killed 4, and had it so it was just a Moira and a Bastion left. My Hanzo was PogChamp. And also, this is my one brag I'm just gonna say about the team. Last episode, Rob kind of like made me look like a little bit of a Pepega. He said thinking the number 2 ranked team would lose. Rank 2 my ass, motherfucker.
They're not, in my opinion, they're not ranked 2.
They're definitely not ranked 2 this week.
No offense, Rob, but your team is not top 5 material in my opinion.
It will be hard for them to get back there after this week, but we'll see. So that's a little bit about that game. I think we went through enough there. It was definitely surprising to see Shimada out on top, and we will definitely see it in the rankings coming up here, how that affected each team. So let's move on to our next game here. Our next match we're going to cover here is Aftermath versus Valk's Descent. And, there's one from Aftermath here and there's one from Valk's here.
And it looks like I'm the one
I will let Faded take this one away here. It was a 4-0
to avoid
victory.
tension argument.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take it away, Faded.
So, in all honesty, and I'm going to be brutally honest with this one, I don't believe this was a strong performance from Aftermath. I think this was just a weak performance from Valks. I think Valks could have had this for sure if they had played this differently. Aftermath's aggression was not responded to with in kind. It really showed. You guys kind of let them just walk over you at times, and I was disappointed because in all honesty, I had you guys winning this match for sure. And I'm gonna say this again: without Slick on that team, he's the hard carry. Slick is the hard carry of Aftermath, and the fact that you guys did not realize that and shut him down, or at least attempt to shut him down. I mean, his Symmetra just was left untouched continuously, and that's a big issue. So, in all honesty, I think it was a sloppy game. I don't think either team, truthfully, should have won. But Aftermath clearly came in with a game plan, and they were more decisive with their aggression. So, I will give it to Aftermath in the fact, though, they only, I was counting this, they only lost a total of 3 fights where they got the first pick advantage. So they were decisive in closing fights down, and it was an impressive showing from them, but I don't think it was a strong showing.
No,
Yeah.
I'm going to add a little bit. I'll totally agree. It was literally, I think it was within the whole set of, it was even Oasis. We had a whole game plan set, but he did so well at making sure, myself, because I was on hit scan, I'll say it for the whole thing, I couldn't get near him. I literally could not get near Slick to even shut him down because I knew he was going to be your hard carry. And then with the stomping that was given, it was really difficult to adjust, and things it didn't improve. And I will agree. We did slump a little bit, and I wish we could go back and replay it because I feel like we'd have a better game plan.
I honestly believe you guys would have won had you shut Slick down and if your performance was a bit strong. Because as I said, I don't think Aftermath was strong. I just think your guys just wasn't enough. And
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that's where I place.
Yeah, one of the
But
things
also like to point out, Cloudii is rude. I waved to him 6 times on Junkertown, and he never waved back.
How rude! What a guy.
Don't worry.
Yeah, just one thing from our point of view, it really felt like we weren't being countered, like you said. So, we had plans going into each map, and we're like, why are we gonna switch if we're not getting countered in our current setup right now? So we kind of, and at the same time, we didn't have the perfect starting 6 that I would have liked. So we were missing a few key pieces, but at the same time, it just felt like we weren't being countered in any way. So it seemed to be a pretty easy match for us. No offense to Docs or anything.
No, look, no offense taken. Look, we all make mistakes. This is what the league brings. You either take it or you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the one thing I will give you is your aggression. I mean, this is something that you need in this meta. Aggression is so key.
Oh, I'll point this out. We're trying so hard to even try and understand this meta, but we're getting there.
Even
but
Overwatch League is still trying to figure it out.
That's all I'll say.
But I think you guys are kind of like the gladiators almost of the league. You're not afraid to get aggressive, and teams just don't know how to deal with it. So I think that's really impressive, and that you found your play style. It's really, really beneficial.
Yeah, and Valks will look to bounce back against a hard opponent this week, where they go up against Glass and Foot. So that's going to be another team that's very aggressive as well. That's a hard ask there as well. So we'll get into that a little later. All right, so let's get into our next match here. We're looking at Zen's Garden versus TLM. This is one where we saw Zen's kind of bounce back with a win, as we kind of expected them to last week. So they bounced back with a 3-1 win. And what do you want to say about this one?
Okay, so since someone did the wrong game,
don't point fingers.
I wouldn't know who that was.
Yeah,
not me, totally.
I just had a few things that I wanted to say about this game. This actually kind of surprised me. For TLM, I have you guys still ranked. I think this team's underrated, in all honesty. I'm not just saying this because Trill's my senpai. I'm saying this mainly because I think their lineup's scary. I mean, with Bigfoot at the DPS especially, he's such a big carry for that team. So for them to lose 3-1 shocked me a bit, but it's not. I think Zen's Garden proved to me that they were a contender in this league, and by doing that, I was doubtful that they would even be good this season because, I mean, you're not coming in with the team that you really wanted to come in with. I mean, you did lose a few players out of your big playoff run. So, yeah, I think overall I'm still keeping Talon high in my power rankings, but I think Zen's Garden proved something to me. And but I am gonna say, coming up this next match, if you don't have as strong a performance as you did this week, I'm going to be lowering you back down into what I consider you as a team. That's really all I got to say about that.
Yeah, because TLM's coming up against Republic Rebels this week, and like we said with Valks, that's a hard ask.
That is a hard.
Those are two teams in Division 2 right now that are undefeated. They've had 4-0 wins in both of their games. So it's going to be hard to bounce back against a team like that, but we will see what the week brings. So yeah, as far as Zen's Garden goes, like I said, it's good to see them bounce back. We expected that, and I think as a whole, we can all kind of agree that we could see Zen's continuing to climb a little bit after like that week 1 loss. I don't think they're going to be down near the bottom of the division again the rest of the season. I can say that pretty confidently. So I think this week they're going up against Genjutsu. I think that's going to be a win for them.
That should be an easy ask. If you don't win that decisively, then that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's
you have to win that decisively.
Exactly. So as far as this game, we don't really have too much to say there. So.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I mean, it was a game that it wasn't much to talk about anyway. I mean, it kind of just happened. It wasn't like a big important one either. I feel like.
So let's move on. Let's go to SDG versus Glass and Foot. This one was a big blowout here by what we consider one of the top teams. Glass and Foot is looking very good, even though it was against SDG, who is currently kind of lower in the rankings. I think even though they beat a lower ranked team, they showed how great that they actually are, and there's so many good pieces on that team. Even without casual, they dominated, so it's good to see that. And this is that's a team that's probably going to be 1 or 2 in the division at the end of the season here. So let's go into this game a little bit. Lucky, you want to lead it off here?
My accidental prediction, my accidental review. No, look, as we were saying, we were expecting Glass and Foot 4-0. Everyone predicted it. You'd nearly even say SDG could have nearly predicted that it was going to be this way.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I'm not going to lie. There were certain moments in the game where I actually thought SDG were having real good moments.
Yeah.
And I think Eclipse, you were actually doing this map, weren't you?
I was casting this match, yes.
Yeah. Number one thing I want to point out, I think is it Veil or something like that, the Widow player on SDG?
Yes, Veil
Veil
and Fireball are big DPS players, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but start that Widow, please. That Widow was popping off. Dude, it's good to see that SDG are now kind of switching up things compared to obviously what they were running previously beforehand. But anyway, look, we'll move into it. So there was a few moments where I thought SDG, I didn't think they were going to win a map, but it was good to show that they might be able to take some percentages and kind of make Glass and Foot actually think about what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of Veil and everything, I still think there's a lot of miscommunication. For instance, there's a few moments on Oasis, even on Paris, fat shatters coming out from SDG's Reinhardt. Sorry, I forgot the name, so that's my bad. But yet, no follow-up. It's like there's a whole big miscommunication, and it's something that I've always kind of said about STG. They need to really improve it. And then especially when you're coming up against Glass and Foot, who we all know are, and we've always said it, the most consistent, probably one of the best. I'm actually going to put it that they're going to win Season 3 with the performances they're putting out.
Yeah.
But Chaos simply came up clutch. I'm sorry. This guy, I'm going to actually give you the nickname of King of the Stall. The amount of times that SDG had 5 or 6 on point, and Chaos, and maybe I think it might have been the Moira legit, literally those two only on point, and they managed to stall and win out the fight.
Wow.
By literally letting J. Coley get back onto point, shield him up, pick him off one by one. Like, Glass and Foot did this every single time. And even to make this even better, Glass and Foot won a 5v6 in the middle of a fight. Now, I do know it was a disconnect. And I remember the whole laugh that you were like, should I pause it? Should I not pause it? I found that hilarious, by the way. But even with that, I think it was actually Super Ellis that came out with a clutch with a Junkrat tire. So it just shows that even though it may look like that SDG are going to take the point, once someone pops up, someone steps up to the plate and literally delivers. And I want to say J. Coley is definitely in the run for probably the best Reinhardt in the league as well. I think, honestly, Chaos and J. Coley are probably the 2 best main tanks in the league. Now, I know you're Cloudie's definitely going to have a fight for me with Aftermath's main tank, but hey, look. But no, like that, it pretty much sums it up. I think STG, they still got to work on their comms. I think they're trying to force the meta a little bit and force the meta to work, even though it wasn't working for them. But I do think that SCG are looking a little bit more promising, but I still can't see them making a move. They need to start switching up a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things we were talking about last week.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I have.
even through SDG's game last week, we were talking about kind of the same feedback almost, where we see SDG trying to force the sim and like getting stuck in their ways a little bit, and we kind of saw it again this week, so it wouldn't really be much of a surprise to anybody. But yeah, so that, I mean, it ended up how we all expected it to. But hopefully we can see some good from SDG in the future here.
I have a little I want to kind of say on this as well.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I watched this match extensively. I watched it 3 times. And I have 3 main words: predictability and staggers. This is a team that has struggled with this since last season. I mean, it's insane to me. Even when I was playing with them, we were predictable and we were a stagger heavy team. And it's something that we have to fix. I mean, Glass and Foot knew what we were running every single time that we came out of spawn. And it showed in their picks. It showed in the way they played and where they positioned. And it's also the whole thing of, like, as Lucky, is it? I believe.
Yeah, you can call me whatever.
I'll call you Lucky. As he mentioned, the miscommunication is so huge. The amount of times that we had like a member just randomly run into 6 people and attempt a 1v6 was insane. I'm gonna be harsh on this team, and I know I'm your coach, and I'm sorry, guys. I love you, but if you're gonna keep playing like that, you're gonna save it. You better just save it one time and just forfeit all your matches. I mean, in all honesty, it's not something that we can do, and you got to work on the staggers. You need a shot caller. It's clear you don't have one, and I'm going to say it once more. Losing me out of the shot call is something that you need to replace. I love you, Roxas. You're a leader for this team, but if you can't do it, identify someone who can and let them take over, because it has to happen or you're going to lose your games.
Yeah, and that, talking about predictability and stuff, that was definitely something we hit on last week, and we continue to see from SDG here, so... Yeah, so that's definitely a good recap of that game. Again, SDG, we want to see better out of you.
I really do.
No, like that's the thing. We don't want everyone to be like whatever, getting no wins. Like we always like a little bit of an upset. We always like to see someone doing well or deliver. Like the amount, how many 4-0s have we had in this bloody league? Seriously, come on.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot more 4-0s this season than there was last season. I don't know why, but it just seems like the amount of 4-0s are definitely up. But Yeah, so let's keep it moving here and move on to our next match. Our next match here is going to be Guyana Gates versus Genjutsu. And this is another upset where, I mean, none of us predicted Guyana winning this game. And, I mean, they were literally in last place in the power rankings. So it was definitely a week where we saw a couple upsets, and this was definitely one of the bigger ones as well. So, Callum, I think you had this game, right?
Yes, I had this game. I was also hosting and casting it. So, yeah, glad I got this one. All right, so I'm going to start with the positives first, and I'm going to talk about GG. First of all, the big playmaker is definitely Meme Supergod. If he did not pop off and get the kills, GG lost the team fights, basically. This being said, Nightflix also had some really nice ultimates, both on the Pharah and the Reaper. So that was really nice to see. And I forgot the Moira player, but the Moira player, I made a few jokes about it, the DPS Moira, but she you gotta respect when a Moira is able to kill a whole team. On the flip side of this, I basically have nothing nothing nice. I don't want to sound like an asshole and be too harsh, but it's like Jinjitsu don't even want to play anymore.
Yeah.
It's like they've just got people together and they've literally first dragged them to this game, and it's like people are just dragging their feet the entire time. It's like I don't actually remember. I think it was one map maybe there was actually a competitive game, but as a caster, I was generally struggling to find things to hype up Danjitsu because it's like I said, it's like they don't want to play anymore. And I think this team needs a major reshuffle or a major kick up the ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in their first week, they went up against Glass and Foot, and we kind of gave them a break there because it is Glass and Foot, and we know how good they are. But then this week you're going up against one of the lower tier teams, a team that you probably could beat if if everything was perfect and if all the stars aligned, but it just didn't happen. It's just,
I honestly think Jinjitsu mentally, I think if they lose the first game, they're just like, oh fuck, we can't win this, and they just boom out and they give up.
Yeah. I think that's what we're seeing. Maybe that's why we're seeing so many 4-0s this season is the amount of tilt. It's just like once you start losing one map, then it compounds into two maps, and then it's just like, all right, we're gonna lose.
It's like when we talked about Jinjitsu, like in the very first podcast, and it's like all the star players that I mentioned are now gone from that team. They're not there anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, if I had to pick like Denjitsu versus SGG at the current states of the two teams, I would actually pick STG to win.
Oh, thank you.
I know, I feel like I can trust, and I know SCG would put effort in to fix the problems. Right now, the Jitsu just look like an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And I said it last week. I felt bad, so now you said it, so now I don't feel half as bad.
I mean, I think it's something we could probably.
No, I was given the benefit of the doubt last week, but this week,
no.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable to lose in that type of fashion, in my opinion. As you said.
Fair enough. If you're gonna lose 4-0, but at least look like you're trying.
But no, like the main thing, like first I want to give a shout out to Netflix.
Netflix.
Okay.
Hey guys, just so you know, we got a new sponsor in Netflix.
Let's go.
Okay. Oh my god. Sorry.
Talent podcast coming to Netflix.
Yeah.
Bro, imagine if we actually got sponsored by them. Like that would be huge.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
Take it away, Lucky.
Oh, I'm gonna try. But no, seriously, I want to give a shout out to Netflix. Obviously, me and Callum used to play with Netflix, and it's good to see. Like we're talking about kind of the lower end teams. We've always kind of told that like Guyana Gates was going through some really bad turmoil and kind of not having a team to play with and all that. And it's kind of actually really nice to see a team that has underperformed, not even just for the last two games. No, sorry, the previous game, But even in the last season as well, they kind of underperformed. It's kind of good to see that they're kind of like coming up to the spot now, and they've kind of actually taken their first win. I can imagine it's probably their first win in a long, long time. So it's kind of nice to see that. I was kind of surprised when I saw it was 4-0 and pretty much that much of a stomping, but it's as you said, Jiu-Jitsu just don't really look like they want to play.
Yeah, and I just want to say here real quick, if any of these teams are listening, Jiu-Jitsu, SDG, like, we're not trying to bash anybody here. It's not obviously the point of the podcast. It's just obviously we want to see everybody get better, and that's what we're hoping for in the future here, right? So
yeah, of course.
All right, let's. Oh, go ahead.
Like, you can make this is to inspire teams to get better. I mean, what's a game without criticism? You know,
Exactly,
I feel like without criticizing you, you're just gonna keep on the same thing, and next thing you know, you've lost every single game of your season, and we don't want that. We want this league to be competitive.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm playing Widow. You missed 17 of your shots. Oh, well done. You're so good. That's not going to help you.
Yep. So let's recap this last game here. It's the last one of week 2 here. It is Darkmount versus Republic Rebels, and man, did Republic Rebels give us a showing here. It was
wasn't even.
It seemed like, you know what it might have been? They were so mad at us last week for putting them so low, and they just came out and just
You
demolished.
guys put them low. You guys. Screw you guys. I'm throwing you two under the bus, not me.
Yeah, I will definitely take that. I did have them pretty low in my rankings, but it is pretty clear now that they are going to be a top team here. So what do you want to say about this game here?
Right. Anyway, so let's have a look at both teams. So when you break down the teams, I simply see tank line supports being a relative issue at times for Darkmount. I think obviously we've always thought about the lineup of Rebels with Xenon, with Eleanor. Like, I'm just picking out random names kind of in each position.
Tommy and
yeah, you could literally
Tommy especially.
Ginger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, no, he was
Yeah,
benched.
that's what I mean. It's like you can pick a few names. You have to pick every single one of them because that's how stacked they are.
Yeah. It's
But
definitely.
it's when. Go on, sorry. No, go on.
It's just definitely a team that, like, we looked at it before the season, and now we're looking at it again, and we see all these names like popping out at us that maybe weren't popping out at us in like the beginning of the season, and now it's like okay, they have a good roster, they have a great roster, and they could probably make a good run with it.
But what I think is the DPS. I actually think they're relatively close. Now, the real reason why I'm saying that is because if it wasn't for Timer, if it wasn't for Mad Dog, honestly, I literally think this would have been an absolute beating, an absolute whitewash.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times, like, for example, I don't think I've never seen a first fight end as quick as Rebels did on literal first point on Oasis. I think the fight might have lasted 4 or 5 seconds. It was so quick, but then they adapted, they changed. Doomfist came out and they absolutely wrecked them. Now, obviously, things didn't go according to plan, and as we know, Rebels is so stacked with everything that they play. They switched it up, and obviously they came out, and obviously, as you know, the end result was 4-0. But I will hand it to them, and we just said it there, that Darkmount is a team that you can't just go, oh, wow, look, easy clap, boys, we'll slap them up. You can't, because they actually have a very good upfront. They have a solid enough tank lineup. They have a good support lineup. So anyone that's kind of coming up against these thinking, oh, easy clap, boys, think again. They actually have some really, really good talent. As I said, some key players, Xenon, Twisted, Timer. I think actually I got to give a shout out to him, and I will completely agree that I actually think Ant is probably one of the better off tanks in the league. Now, I would have put Ruben at number 1, but obviously we all know Ruben's no longer in the league. Mm-hmm. So I would happily put up Ant as probably one of the best off tanks in the league. Definitely.
Yeah.
A few more things. In terms of like how how well and how synergized Rebels are. If you actually look at every single fight, it's like Xenon and Twisted know exactly what they want to do. Literally every fight, I'll use this DPS ult. Next fight, Xenon will use his one. Yet again, they'll recycle and recycle. So every time they're going into a fight, they have an ultimate lined up and ready. And it's like they know exactly what they're doing at an exactly at the same time, and they just all pounce on it. It was actually a real nice game to watch, and it was absolutely perfect. But now, this is the reason why I think that DR are a good team, but they're actually their worst enemies. I'm not entirely sure what happened. All I know is that something happened within the comms of a certain game. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but apparently someone got a little bit angry and left. Now, as I said, not entirely sure, but this is what I was on about last week with everybody on this team having a very hot personality and getting salty and angry. It'll activate everyone, and I think that's probably what happened. I think probably Darkmount are expecting a relatively good game on their side. They did, but they're quite not at Rebels level yet.
Yeah. So it's definitely, we kind of been saying the same things about them over the past few weeks, and they have the talent there, and they just need to put it together. And if they can put it together, if they can figure out a way to put all that talent together, this will be a team that, you know, we talk about as one of the contenders. But as of now, they're a team that's kind of towards the bottom of the rankings until we can see it from them. So
the one thing I want to make note of is after this match, they lost like 3 players, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like keeping your roster is going to have to, like, you need practice time together, and keeping a roster is something that you have to do. So
Yeah, wait, do we
let
know
me
if it
take
was
a look here.
Do you know if they left?
How many
or
players
they
have
kicked
Darkmount lost now?
they just
Well,
left.
let me take a look here. But they got 1, 2, 3. They got 4 free agents from the roles this week. So I wouldn't count them out too much yet.
I'm not like
we'll see.
counting them out, but it's like practicing together is like the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are they going to come into this next match as a team, or are they going to come into this match as 6 players
Yeah.
that are just playing a
Solo
different
game,
game?
boys.
Yeah, so we will see. So that is the recap of week 2 there. It was definitely an exciting week and as we said last week, it's nice to start seeing like the standings work themselves out, see what teams are like in better positions than others, and we're starting to get a feel for who the contenders are going to be, and in my opinion, that's one of the most fun parts here. Being able to see like the standings come together at the end of the week and like seeing where teams are, and it kind of all starts to make sense a little bit. You know, these next couple weeks here are going to be pretty crucial, so I'm pretty excited for them. On that note, we're going to get into our power rankings here. I will just go through them, and I'll just say all the rankings, and then there's definitely a few points I want to say, and if there's any points that anybody else wants to make, we can do that. So, without further ado, our power rankings are like this. So, there is the undisputed number 1 here. Did not change from last week. No bias here. The number 1 team here this week is Aftermath. Number 2 is Glass and Foot. 3 is Republic Rebels, moving up there now. Number 4, Zen's Garden. Number 5, Shimada Samurais. Number 6, Eclipsed. 7 is Valk's Descent. 8 is TLM. 9 is Darkmount. 10 is Guyana Gates, climbing a little bit. 11 is Genjutsu, and 12 is SDG. So those are the power rankings there. Now, a couple things I want to say about this is, one thing you'll notice here is all 3 of us had the same top 3 teams. We all had Aftermath 1, we all had Glass and Foot 2, and we all had Republic Rebels 3. And I think that just kind of shows that, like, these are going to be the 3 teams we probably see contending at the end of the season. and there's going to be a couple other ones mixed in here once we start getting further into the season. But for us to all agree on the top 3 teams is actually rare, and I'm surprised it actually happened. So we don't agree that often. So that was really interesting to see there.
Well, you guys finally realized Rebels was a top 5 team.
Yes, you had them. You've had them up high pretty the whole season, I think, right?
Yeah, it's like I've played with these people. I know what they're capable of. Promi and Xenon, they are extremely talented. They all played together. Twisted included with Xenon in that group. They've all played together for ages. Eleanor's played with Twisted back on FJ as well. They're already synergized basically. They are definitely going to make a run in the playoffs.
And you bring up a good point there, because another team that's alike is Glass and Foot. That's a team that, like, every time I'm on, I see them all playing together, or they're doing a scrim, or they're doing something, and that is like one of the most important parts of being a good team, is being able to synergize together like that. So it's definitely, that's why these teams are up at the top, because they play together so much and they're so used to playing with each other. So that all helps in the end too. So let's see, just to recap on a couple other things. Zen's Garden dropping down to 4 just because of the fact that Republic Rebels passed them. But we're still keeping Zen's up there in the top 5. Guyana Gates coming up at a last place. It's good to see that. Valk's dropping to 7. That's one that's kind of interesting. We'll see how they play next week and the week after that, and they'll have an opportunity to redeem themselves there. So, anything else you guys want to say about this?
Okay. So obviously I'm the guest here, and I don't. My power rankings is mainly different from your top 5. I know you guys got a consensus of where Aftermath should be, but I personally am not as good feeling with them. I think you guys are a good top 5 team. I definitely believe you're a top 5 team, but I think Republic Rebels steals your number 1 spot. I think Glass and sees it too, and I'm being a bit biased here. I'm Zen's Garden is going at 3, and I'm putting TLM at 4. I believe TLM's a team that needs to be watched for, and is just not getting the attention they're deserving of. I don't know. Maybe it is something where I see something that other people don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just believe that's where it should go. And especially, like I said, with the performance against Valkyries, if y'all had been more decisive, it hadn't been as sloppy, if it was just as clean, I believe honestly y'all could have taken them over in my power rankings. But the rest I heavily agree with. I do think the 10 through 12 is perfectly placed, and I think everyone else is around the same. Like, it's around equal lighting level. Any of those teams past 5 could kind of, but at 9 could kind of beat each other, so it's kind of fair. But yeah, I'm going to be placing TLM at the 4th spot.
It's kind of like who kind of fixes their problems first. It's kind of like who makes that jump in the middle.
Yeah, but I think top 5 wise, that definitely is going to be my top 5. Republic Rebels, I'm hoping you won't disappoint me this week, because I'm making a bold statement, putting you over 2 teams that everyone else considers better. So please hard carry that fight. Please don't make me look like an idiot.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there.
Right.
Go ahead, Callum.
If you don't mind, one thing I want to say is why personally I believe Aftermath deserved the number 1 spot over both Glass and Foot and the Republic Rebels. Look in the power rankings at 12th, 11th, 10th, and 9th. Which divisions are those teams in?
Oh, your their division, yeah.
Yep, they're all Division 1. In my opinion, Aftermath have had the harder games. So because they've had the harder games and they've still won convincingly, that's why, in my opinion, they deserve number 1 spots. Not taking anything away from RR and Glass and Foot, but they're expected to both win their divisions. Aftermath was more of it was a surprise that they beat Sens, and then they beat Falks. Granted, Falks was definitely weaker this week because Dizzy couldn't play. They've lost Ruben. But Falks is far from a bad team.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason I'm placing them so low is that, as I said in the Vox game, I mean, they're coming off of, like, as you said, some big losses, and it's a team that I would consider to be you need a decisive win over, and I didn't see a decisive win. The 4-0 shows a decisive win, but the actual gameplay didn't, in my opinion. And then going against Zen's Garden, I still believe Zen's Garden to be superior, and I just think that an off game happened. Like, them showing up against TLM kind of restored my faith. I don't think if they didn't show up to TLM would be taking their number 3 spot. Aftermath would be taking number 4. But I don't know. I still believe TLM to be a good team, and I just think Zen's Garden restored their faith in, like, my faith in them. That's my only reason. I feel like.
Yeah, we will see. We'll definitely see for sure. Yeah, let's move on here. We've got a little bit of time left here. Let's go on to our week 3 predictions. We're gonna have to run through these a little bit quicker than usual, but let's go over it here. Week 3 has some good matchups. When we look at it from afar, like Valk's Ascent versus Glass and Foot, that's a great matchup. That's gonna be a great game. Even Eclipse versus Darkmount, I think that can potentially be a good game. And I mean, if you have TLM so high, maybe TLM versus Republic Rebels, that might be a very good game as well. So as we all know, this is an inter-division week, so Division 1 play against Division 2 opponents, and it will be good to see how, these teams go up against each other. So let's jump into it here. We're going to start at the top with Zen's Garden versus Genjutsu. This one is probably going to be a little lopsided, and we probably all predicted the same. Yeah, we all predicted the same. So
not even I'm the pago enough to
not going to happen, man.
Yeah.
If they do, I don't know what I'll do.
As I said before, if Zen's doesn't win this decisively, there's a problem.
Yeah, so we all predicted 4-0 Zens here, and I mean, we've kind of went over why we see Genjutsu losing that bad, and yeah, Zens can definitely kind of give a statement win here if they can go 4-0 and start climbing back up the standings. That's about it there. I mean, I don't want to dwell on too much there. Let's move on to Valk's Descent versus Glass and Foot. Now, this is one that is all over the map here as far as predictions go. So let's go a little in depth here. We'll start with you, Faded. So you have Glass and Foot winning 3-1. And why do you feel that way?
So even with Dizzy coming into the lineup, I just don't see him being enough of a hard carry to beat a team like Glass and Foot. Yeah. I mean, this is a decisive team. This is a team that has some clear communication. And I'm sorry, but I just think Chaos is a better DPS. Even though he has limited pool, I just think he's better.
You think Chaos is a better DPS than Dizzy?
I honestly do.
Oof, that
if he plays the Sigma, I mean, I saw an amazing Sigma out of this guy.
Yeah.
Sigma's not DPS.
I know he's not a DPS, but I mean, he's a tank that plays like a DPS. I
Depends
mean, what do Sigmas do? Yeah. They shoot their little orbs. I mean, like, in all honesty, I will give it to Valkyries. I think they'll put up a fight, and I think that's why they'll take a map. But I don't think with the way Glass and Foot's looking, they'll win. No.
Yeah. And don't forget with Casual, I mean, he's going to be definitely an impact here, so we'll see how that goes. Me personally, I have 3-2 with Glass and Foot coming out on top. I think it's going to be a closer game than most think. I just think that Valks is, with Dizzy coming back, they are a good team, and they're going to put up a fight. But like you said, I think Glass and Foot's still going to come out on top. Callum and Lucky, what do you guys think here?
I'll let you go first, Callum.
Okay, thank you. Right, so I got 3-1 in favor of Glass and Foot. I think, yes, Dizzy's an extremely talented hitscan player.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we weren't in a double shield meta, he would definitely, it would be closer, but the fact is you can't play hitscan into double shields.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm going to take us back to the playoffs of Season 2 where Falks went against No B. I think you compare Falks and playoffs compared to Falcons now. Falcons are definitely looking weaker. They don't have Ruben. Granted, I felt that they're holding a spot with Dizzy, but it's like it's a team game. He can't 1v6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at both sides. I'm like, DPS wise, Glass and Foot have casual. They can have chaos if they want to for the May. They've got basically, I don't see. It's like support line. It's like I'm trying to find somewhere the Falcons can wiggle around Glass and Foot, and I'm like, nah, I don't think I don't want to be harsh to you, Lusky, but I just don't see you guys winning. I think you'll put up a competitive series, but then I'm like remembering playoffs.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do
And
So
want to say one more thing.
go ahead.
I've never really seen Dizzy play that much. I played him once and only really saw him on the Widowmaker. So I don't know about him. But losing Ruben is so huge. I know that
Yeah.
guy was an absolute animal.
Yep.
So it's something like that's a hard thing to come back from.
Yeah. And with all that being said, we'll go to the one person who predicted Valks winning this match. That's Lucky. Go ahead, man. Take it away.
Look, I'll be pretty honest. Look, this prediction is coming from the heart. Really,
Yes.
in my head, I'm expecting a defeat. And I'll accept that because, number one, we're struggling with the meta. And I don't care. Any team could take this information right now and look at VD as a victory. Do whatever you want. We're trying our best to get our way around it. We're trying our best to see what works for us going into this meta. We're trying to tinker around, see what things we have that we can kind of benefit us. We found some things. We lost some things. As I said, we lost Ruben, probably a heart of our tank line. We obviously said we picked up Dizzy, but playing obviously Sniper into a double shield isn't a little bit isn't ideal at all.
Yep.
But we're working around it. We're trying to find what way we can get this comp to work so we can at least show up. As I said, I'm not expecting a win. I'd love just to even remote show, get a good match going. But as you said, I feel like it is probably going to be a loss, but I'm just holding out for a win, hopefully. But
Yeah.
You gotta.
yeah, exactly. You just can't accept straight up defeat. You got to go out there. You got to put on a show, and if it doesn't happen,
course.
it doesn't happen. If it does, it does.
Of course. Yep. So let's keep moving here. The rest of it we can blow through pretty quickly here. Aftermath versus SDG. This is when we are all going one direction here. It is literally in the power rankings. It is literally the first team against the last team. So I can imagine that it will be pretty lopsided. But all of us except for Faded predicted 4-0.
And I'm not even giving it a 3-2. It's a 3-1. And I think the only reason Aftermath loses a map is because they meme on SCG in the fourth map. I honestly think it's like that's what'll happen if we take a map right now. Just gotta have hope, bro. Gotta have hope, as Lucky said. And it's kind of like I think if SCG can make some changes, it might be competitive. But I just don't see it if they're gonna keep playing the way they have been.
I will say my co-captains are pressuring me to change the team name to Meme Team. So
I like it. Yeah. I like it.
I don't know if we will see the fruition of that one, but let's keep moving here. We have TLM versus Republic Rebels. This should be a good match here. We all predicted the same way, just different score lines. So let's go around here. I predicted Republic Rebels on top 4-0. Callum, what do you got here?
I got a 3-1.
Yeah, you think TLM can pull out a map here?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm really impressed with Fat D. I mean, they took a map off Sens. They took 2 maps off us when we played them. However, that being said, I don't think their playstyle is gonna win them the game. I know that they are quite aggressive, but at the same time, one of the best, I would say this, one of the best counters to double shield is Afara. And guess what? Twisted is really known for and plays rather well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then you
Rather
got
two.
Cena, you can pretty much flex onto any DPS hero and play it moderately well. And I feel like it's either going to rely on Fat D and Cool Dude / Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Those three players would have to really show up and hard carry if TLM wants to win the series. And I'm not ruling that they don't, but I'm trying to look. I'm looking at like one-on-one matchups. It's like tank line of JK and Fat D versus a tank line of Ginger and Ant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sticking with my British boys. I'm going with Ginger and Ant.
Mm.
Promi,
Yeah.
Eleanor, support line, Trill, Delirium. I think that's actually a more even support line, but I'm still leaning towards Promi and Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we were discussing about dream teams, Promi and Eleanor were at least mentioned by someone in every
Oh
dream
yeah.
team.
Yeah. Definitely. So.
The DPS, Cold Dude's Doomfist, if I remember, was a bitch to deal with. But again, a good counter to Doomfist is Farah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not ruling TLM out. I think they could definitely give a competitive series, but I think overall RR have the synergy, they have the flexibility, and they have the skill to just counter TLM.
Yeah. Everybody agree with that there?
Yeah,
We
pretty
all
much.
feel-
Like, he robbed every single point. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Callum.
I'm sorry, I'm just big brained, okay?
I mean, I have the match going a bit closer. I obviously still have R&R winning the 3-2. Forgive me, senpai, but I don't see it happening. I think R&R is gonna take this just because, I mean, it's a team that is, as you guys said, stacked. I mean, you can't deny it. And Promi, honestly, please don't hurt me, Chill, is my opinion, one of the best, if not the best support in the league. And it's insane. So I'm going to probably get kicked off stream team, but it's fine. I think that
It's
she
all
just
worth
plays, she plays such a good game, and I can't deny that. And so, I think TLM will put up a fight, but R&R, there's a reason they're not at the top of my power rankings.
Yeah, for sure. And Lucky also had 3-1 Rebels, so just for the record.
Yeah. Woo.
Let's move on to Eclipsed and Dark Mount. This is one that we're all one-sided as well, it looks like. I've got 4-0 Eclipsed. I mean, I guess I could see Dark Mount winning one, but for the most part, I think Eclipsed will bounce back here and go 4-0. Lucky, you have an interesting one here.
Well, yeah, no, it's like what I pointed out. Now, obviously, I made this prediction before I was even known that they lost 3 people. So obviously, I'm not sure entirely what they lost. So if they go with the lineup that they had for last week's games, I think because of what they're able to do with Mad Dog and Timer, I think honestly, if they pop off like they popped off against RR, along with because obviously, don't get me wrong, I'm saying Eclipse are very good, but they're not RR level.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're able to pop off against RR or Rebels, it just sounds weird saying RR.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that they can cause maybe a good amount of upset to Eclipse. Now, obviously, as I said, I'm not sure who they lost. So if they lost probably a lot of their key kind of components that they had going into last week, then obviously I think it could be, as Eve kind of predicted, a 4-0 or a 3-1.
Yeah.
But I just think if they allow Mad Dog and Timer to get up and get ready, good at the. I mustn't get good at what am I even saying? If they allow their DPS to get turned on and become active and start popping people off, it's going to be a close game.
One thing I do want to mention is I'm pretty sure Timer was one of the leaves.
Okay, well then
it's gonna be on Mad Dog. Timer was one of the leaves, so that's why I'm taking this though 4-0. If he was still there, I think the DPS duo would be enough to cause some trouble.
Yeah.
But with him gone, I just don't see Mad Dog doing that much. It's the same thing with Dizzy. I mean, it's just way too much a hard game match like that.
Yeah.
General
Okay, yeah,
question.
no,
Do they have
okay, I
TC
changed
playing
mine.
main tank?
Revert mine to a 4-0.
They have
What was that?
TC?
What was that count?
Do they still have TC playing main tank? Was that just a meme?
Is he not a main tank? I thought he was a main tank.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I don't
Neither
know.
do I.
Mad Dog, just ping us and tell us.
Uh,
All right, let's go on to our last match here. It is Shimada versus Guyana Gates. Another one that we all have going the same way. We all have Shimada winning this one, and I could also see that. I mean, I think we could all pretty well see why that would happen. I
wonder why. Please enlighten.
As long as Callum can do math, Shimada will come out on top here. So,
ooh.
And here's where I make you like a fool. I did the math right. I just read the numbers wrong.
all right.
Okay.
As long as Callum can read. we'll win. All right. No. So we all had Shimada either 3-1 or 3-2, which is actually a closer match than what I might actually believe. Faded, you
No,
actually...
I think.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think GG might ride the wave.
Yeah.
Like, they've got their first win. They're going to be hungry. And I think if, not Netflix, Nightflix, is able to get on the Sombra or get on the Reaper or get on, I can't remember the other hero, but I'm going to continue
Farah.
anyway. The Farah, yeah, thank you very much. And if we get Meme popping off like he does, it is going to, it's like what I'm saying with the Dark Mode game. If the DPS is able to set up and get going, then it's going to be a good game. Now, obviously, Shimada, fantastic team, but obviously it's new. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's a whole new map set as well, so you might have everything planned out for the last 2 weeks with the map set. Now it's a new map set. If you haven't got anything planned, it could be a good game because you might be used to running on that map.
Mhm.
But it's a case of let's find out. I think GG are going to ride the wave.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think Netflix is such a great DPS player, and
See, I don't know if you're memeing on me for saying Netflix or
I mean, you just have to take a guess.
If we just say it enough times, maybe he'll change his name or she.
Yeah,
She.
She, sorry.
So as we were saying, Netflix being Netflix is such a great. She's so great at DPS. It's something that I think GG will be. Their first win is going to be going through their minds. They're running off adrenaline. I think
Yeah.
honestly, you're going to be running off that. And if anything is to show in Overwatch is that teams who are running off of previous map wins, especially in the Overwatch League, they play better. People that have lost and just continue to lose and lose and lose. I mean, that's what Tilted is,
Mhm.
I would not be surprised if Ghana, before they won this last match, was full Tilted every single time they played. Because it's
Yeah.
not fun to just lose. And I can understand why they would be frustrated. So
Yeah.
to come in, and I completely agree with Lucky here. They're going to ride the wave. Are they going to win? I don't see it. But will they
Yeah.
make it a match? I see it happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, even I agree. Sorry, I just got to put in here, but I just gotta be. I feel like Meme and Knight are a brilliant DPS duo.
Mhm.
However, I just feel Shimada's strength becomes as a team as a whole because every single person on our team is extremely talented, and we're just building together as a team. We're becoming we're becoming more of a family, like so many people do as well. So I feel our real strength is not just our individual talent on certain players, but the talent as a team. And that's why I think we'll ultimately get us to W. But I can definitely see Meme. I honestly can't say anything too bad about that guy because he's a fucking brilliant DPS player. Last time I played against his hand, so I wanted to cry. But Nightflix obviously also as well had a really good showing in the last game. And also one major point I have to point out is this is the battle of the Welsh. Me and Nightflix are both Welsh. We're both the captains.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This is the battle of the dragons.
oh, this
I
became
like
spicy and interesting
Yeah,
now.
let's go. We have a rivalry. I like it.
That's what we like to see. We like the rivalries here. All right. Well, that kind of wraps up week 3. right? That's all the matches there, and those are our predictions. So let's close up the show here by coming back to a idea we had last week. If you didn't listen last week, we came up with an idea of taking our predictions and kind of making a fun standings just for us here, where we take our predictions, and if you guess the right winner, then you get 1 point. If you guess the right scoreline, you get another point. So you can potentially get 2 points out of each match. So I tallied them up, and where we're at right now is Callum has 12 points, I have 12 points, and Lucky has 10 points. So we will see how that progresses throughout the season and see who predicts the right matches the most times.
It doesn't really help you guys. Just
Don't worry,
copy
guys. I'll catch up.
my
I'll catch up.
predictions this week.
We will see. So that wraps up everything I had. Just on a couple quick notes here. If you have any feedback or anything you want to give, just DM me and let me know. I like hearing feedback, and we all like hearing feedback. So let me know if you have anything you'd like to see or maybe change, anything like that. Just let me know. Yeah, that's about it.
Oh, wait. One more important thing. We all forgot about it.
What?
Clean poopy.
There it is. I
Cloudii,
hope
we need a clean poopy remix song.
I'm gonna get right on that. I'm on
Literally,
it.
I was there. I was like, "What's happening?" I was like, "Oh, we forgot something."
Yeah, it just felt empty.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Shout out Clean Poopy. All right. Let's see here. Thanks for coming, Faded. It's been good. It's been great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, nerves kind of lost themselves as I got talking about Overwatch, so that was good. Also, anyone that wants to call me out for my picks, I want you to prove me wrong this week, and hate on me all you want afterwards. I want you to do it.
Don't mind pinging me either. I don't care.
Yeah,
Hit me with
everything.
banter.
Yeah, I want it because this is the whole reason why I accepted coming on here. I want to make people mad and make them play better. That's why I came on here. I'm the type of person. I'm a nice person, so I'm not gonna hit back. But I want you to prove me wrong here.
Do it. Okay. On that note, let's wrap things up here. All right. That's it.
We're wrapping up.
That's it.
I got one final point.
Just wrapping up by saying that's it. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, I got one final
ahead,
little
Callum.
message for Nightflix to spice up the rivalry a little bit.
Here we go.
If I hear any talk about GG trying to beating Shimada, I've just got one response for you, Knight. Kai Gag.
What is?
Okay.
What the
I
hell?
don't know.
Okay,
I'm sure.
That's Welsh
Netflix-
for all you
I'm sure Netflix.
peasants out there.
I'm sure somebody will
Google
understand.
Translate it. She knows what it means, and that's the important part.
I don't remember what you said now. What?
Kai Gag.
Kaidi Geg. Okay. Just gonna hope
Basically,
whatever.
Right, that just blew over my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope whatever I just said wasn't like really
That's the
inappropriate.
basically English equivalent.
Of what? I don't.
All
this is
right.
going
Well, we
way
will
too
find
long.
out. Yes, we will find out, and we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Wait, did you guys not hear me when I told you the translation?
No, it
No.
cut out.
No.
Well, this is a mystery to leave for the next episode of
Let's
podcast.
go. I'm not gonna be here. No.
Well, make sure you listen to the next
Yep,
episode
there
to
it
find
is.
out what that translation means.
Let's go.
Or just ask Netflix.
All right,
Honestly-
let's wrap it up here, guys. All right, everybody have a good week. We'll be back next week. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and see you guys. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Word foul. That's Welsh, guys.
Said it.